I love helping people, teaching people how to create sigils, which is a visual representation of that which you want to manifest.
Sigils.
And so you basically, there's a process to it. We could go into the week, but basically, really quick, you write the sentence as an I am, right? I am pregnant. I am the author of a best-selling novel. I am in love with my soulmate. Whatever it is, I am. And then you cross out all the vowels and the repeating consonants. And you have usually 4 or 5 letters left. And then you make them into a picture. And then you draw the picture. I like to put it in a circle. And you just look at it. And you maybe even keep it by your bedside. And you're not necessarily staring at it during arousal or orgasm, but before, maybe for a moment you stop. Maybe you have it nearby. Maybe you even have it under your pillow or nearby while you're being sexual. And if you can imagine the image, you hold on to that image as much as you can. Obviously, as you're getting really aroused and into orgasm, you're going to be in the moment. But even in the afterglow, you're still in an energetic state of bliss. So look at it again, right? And then we release it, which is a really important part of manifestation, right? Because when we're holding on to it, we're in I want, I need. So you burn it, you tear it up, you let it go. After that, you can always make another one if you want to keep working with that thing that you want to manifest. But that's a really beautiful example of how you might use sex magic.
That is so cool. Yeah, so maybe we should talk about, your book is titled Sex Magic. Obviously, the listeners love manifestation. They're all fans of Joe Dispenza, and he's, like you mentioned earlier, the key often missing ingredient is that elevated emotion. And then obviously anybody who's experienced an orgasm knows that is the highest frequency of energy that physically we can sense, right?
Yeah.
And then closest to like ecstasy and our
Bliss.
source. Yeah. Our source frequency is that indescribable love, right?
It's how we touch God. It's just gotten bastardized by modern society and religion to be something that's the antithesis of spiritual piety or whatever.
Correct.
But it's really the closest we can get to source.
Yes. And then, Pornhub maybe muddies the pond in that sense.
Yes.
So yeah, manifestation during sex sounds like a lot of head work when you're like supposed to be letting go and in the moment. Yeah. So just tell me what you mean by that. Like, give us a little ditty.
So if you look at, and I'm sure you've talked about this, right? And I get way into the weeds of all the science of this in my last book, Quantum Love. But, if you look at the Map of Consciousness by David Hawkins, right? He, with all kinds of scientists and multi-disciplines, went around the world to different cultures and communities with questionnaires, kinesiology, energy work, right, in a million different modalities, and all together figured out how to calibrate the energetic frequency of different emotional states, right? So the lowest frequency, and keeping in mind, as your peeps know, the higher your energetic frequency, we're all pure energy vibrating. Our body holds a frequency and emits a frequency. And the higher it's like an old-fashioned radio dial. You have the station and the volume, right? So the higher your energetic frequency and the more powerful, the more good you're going to manifest in your life. All things, especially when you match it with intention. The lower, the less, right? So the lowest frequency we can hold is shame. The highest frequency we can hold is bliss. And it's a physical state, right? We can all, if we wanted to, think about and tap into something where feel shame around and feel that in our body, right? It's the same. We can also tap into bliss. But it's hard to do that, right? Unless you're a monk on a mountaintop or something.